Hello, everybody, and welcome to Tuesday, Notary Titans. We are so glad that you guys are here today, and we are going live on YouTube today. So, a very special hello to everybody who is watching us live or watching the replay. This is TNT, the nation's longest running free coaching program for notaries. I want you to consider this space your standing invitation to the hottest room in the notary world. TNT goes live every week because your business doesn't take a summer break, and neither do we. We're here to sharpen your strategy, call out what's not working, celebrate what is, and make sure the decisions you're making are moving the needle. Show up ready. This isn't a vibe session, it's a work session. Now, this is an Ask Me Anything style call where no questions are off limits. Questions in the chat may or may not be answered. We prioritize those who raise their virtual hands to ask their questions live since it's a live show. And you can find your raised hand feature right at the bottom of your Zoom screen. I'm going to do my best to hop into YouTube as well and check the chat there. You can also check the chat for any room etiquette, rules, announcements, or speaker information that we might have this week. And of course, any links for upcoming events that we're going to talk about in a few minutes. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name's Jen Neitzel. I'm the creator of the 5-Point Marketing System at Marketing for Notaries, the co-creator of the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent Program, and author of On the Move. And I am joined by the 2026 Notary of the Year, Miss Laura Beaver. Hey, Laura.
Hi. Hi, all. Hope everybody's having a great week. It's been a good one for me.
So, outside of being the reigning Notary of the Year, why have we not gotten her sashes yet? I'm kind of like tiara.
Hello,
I'm
Tiara.
cooking up an idea in my head
The
as
little
we
goat
speak.
ear, goat horns.
Um, you are also the creator of CoachMeLaura.com and author of The Compassionate Notary.
That's right. Thank you
Yes.
for mentioning that. And if you're doing hospital, hospice, homebound signings, you're working with vulnerable signers, the Compassionate Notary is a field guide I wish I had before I walked into those kind of rooms. It's about doing the work well, protecting the signer, and protecting yourself. And you can find that over on Amazon or on my own website, coachmelora.com/books.
Awesome. And of course, we are supported, as we are every week on this call, by the one and only Matt Miller, the president of the California League of Independent Notaries. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Jen. Hey, everyone. Glad to see you back this week. And I am looking forward to our guest host, Leslie, this
Yes, we
week.
have a very exciting guest this week. We're going to introduce her in just a moment after we go over some announcements. But can we get a quick update from you, Matt, where we are with that new California legislation?
Well, we are right down to the end of the legislative process. The bill last week, you saw me at the Capitol. I was there, I testified, and made sure that our fee bill passed out of committee on consent. It has now had its second reading on the Senate floor and could be voted on any day now. And then it will be off to the governor's desk. And guys, that's going to be our last big push. We're all going to have to fire up the old phone tree and call the governor's office and tell him to sign the bill. And I'll let you know when the time is right for that. But we are almost there.
That's incredible. That is incredible. Congratulations. And
Thank
a very special thank you to everybody that stood behind you in this, fighting this good fight.
you. Yep.
We've got a few more steps to go, but we're almost there. Thanks, Matt, for the update. I want to remind everybody that this Saturday, right after Laura's Inner Circle, which is a very in-depth but free opportunity that happens every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific, and you can register for that at coachmelora.com. Laura and I are hosting our June CNTDA or Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent webinar talking all about the estate planning opportunity for notaries. It's happening this Saturday, the 20th at 9:30 Pacific, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern. And you can register at the link in the chat that Matt just posted. It is a free event, and we'd love to see you there if you're interested in estate planning. Now, the National Notary Association is also hosting their last free follow-up event happening on Saturday, June 27th. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday. It's happening at 10 a.m. Pacific. It's called Elevate to Action Post-Conference Support. The free event does require registration, and you will find that in the chat. So you can get registered for that if you want to come join us on the 27th. All right. Well, I
Jen,
am,
Jen, I
yeah,
just want to add to that. Even if you didn't go to conference, you can still register for the free event. There's great information on how to take action, how to break down what you want to do and take action on that. And even if you didn't go and hear anything at the conference, it will still apply. So take advantage of that free offering.
glow, grow, and go. If you've been to the Elevate post conference, you know exactly what I'm talking about. All right. I'm really excited to introduce you to our guest panelists today. Leslie Hawker is the president and co-founder of the Michigan Notary Association, MINA. It's a Michigan-based 501c3 nonprofit organization focused on notary education, advocacy, and professional standards. Through MINA, she works directly with notaries, businesses, and government stakeholders to promote legal compliance, professional development, and a greater public understanding of the notarial profession. Leslie and Mina have developed several Michigan specific law based educational courses that have helped nearly 1,000 notaries better understand their role, not only in foundational notary law, but in the practical, real world application of their duties. Leslie is known for her practical, law focused approach to notary education and her commitment to helping Michigan notaries navigate an evolving industry with confidence, accuracy, and professionalism. Hello, Leslie.
Hi, Jen. Hi,
Welcome.
Laura. Hi, Matt. Thanks for having me.
We are thrilled to have you as our guest panelist today. Tell me how long you have been working through, I know you started it, but how long have you been working through MENA in the state of Michigan?
So we were officially founded in April of 2023, but it took almost 2 years prior to do the investigating to find out how to make it work the right way and to gather all of the correct information to take to notaries. So 5 years-ish.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Now,
Mhm.
if you are a Michigan notary, I'm sure you recognize Leslie. Drop a heart in the chat or a one or a something. Drop anything in the chat to let Leslie know that she has some of her friends from Michigan here. We're really excited to have you. Now, as I was telling you, Leslie, we are an Ask Me Anything style call. So for everybody in the audience, if you have a question, now is the time to raise your virtual hand. You will find it at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we are going to have you answer questions with us today.
Okay.
And this crowd brings some good ones. So, guys, go ahead, get your hands raised. And while we're waiting, we do have some panel questions form questions that folks can submit. But let's show Leslie how this is done today, guys, and get our virtual hands raised. All right, let me get to my question list here. All right, bear with
And
me
I
just.
see we've got Joe and Jeanette and is it Gellis that are here out of Michigan. So we're
Yeah.
so glad that you came today. And actually, you've been on our call before. So thank you for
Yeah,
coming today in particular.
that's a
Love it.
California question. Oh, here we go. Actually, you know what? I see Daniel has his hand up. Let's
Daniel
get to a live question first. Um, Daniel, what can we do for you today?
Hey, how are you, everybody?
Good.
So I'm sitting here recovering from getting a brand new knee this week, so I'm kind of
Oh my.
here, and that's all I get to do.
This is
Um,
surgery year for you. Holy moly.
yeah, it is. It's been declared National Surgery Week. So, hey, I want to talk about, I want to ask about excessive tipping. Now, this is going to sound very, very weird, but when I've got somebody he's a lawyer from, I think he's from out of state, and he wanted me to do this particular signing, which turned out to be no big deal. And I don't mind if somebody wants to round up or throw me an extra 20 here. But when I start getting tipped the three times my fee, I get a little uncomfortable with that. And I don't know if maybe I'm just a soft baby boomer that doesn't really understand the value of my own worth. But I want to know, first of all, does it bother anybody else like it might bother me? And then what I ended up doing was just simply, I figured it wasn't a hill I wanted to die on. So I just went with it. He was very grateful. So, and I think it sounded like the lawyer was having difficulty getting people to even show up. So the fact that I showed up was, I think, impressive to him. But anyways, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, let's start with Laura so she can give us her opinion about this. Laura, what do you say?
So, I mean, I think it depends on where you fall. There isn't a specific law that says you can't accept a tip. However, there's a difference between a thank you tip and something bigger than that that may weigh on you the next time you serve that same client if you keep going back to them. And so I think you need to think about some discretion about where are you comfortable. When somebody gives me, a little box of chocolates, or they baked a banana bread, or they rounded up, $5. Thank you. That's lovely. And I don't have an issue with that. But when it starts being double or triple what I'm earning, because I set my fees appropriately to begin with, then I will not accept it. And I will let them know why. Because I am an impartial public servant, and I cannot have the appearance, even though you're not trying to sway me to do anything, I cannot have those optics. It's not good for me, for my business. And so personally, that's my personal choice, that I wouldn't do it. So there's my thought.
Yeah. Leslie, what do you think?
I concur with what Laura said, and I actually had an attorney attempt to give me a $50 tip on a $50 job. And I turned it down, and he was shocked that I did. And then he asked why. And I said, because it looks like a bribe for next time. And he
Mhm.
said, I did not realize that. And he switched that $50 bill out for a $10 bill.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to be bribing me. He really wanted to thank me, but not everybody is like that. I've had the opposite situation. And so I did actually do some investigating. Can we accept tips? And tips and bribes are two different things, just like Laura said. We need to make sure that it isn't about the next time they call. It's the exact same thing. Laura hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. Matt, what do you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think they hit the nail on the head. I think that you
Mhm.
need to be discretionary. Small tips are fine, items are fine, but when your tip amount starts to exceed your fee amount, that should raise alarm bells for you. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little red flaggy, right?
Mhm.
Daniel, I think you did. I mean, turning it down, I think is the right thing to do. I love, Leslie, that you had somebody that turned it into just a smaller tip to still
Yeah.
express their appreciation for you. I think that's okay. They're just trying to show you their genuine appreciation. Um, I think, if it were me, the first thing I thought of when you asked, or when you brought this up, Daniel, it would make me want to ask the attorney um, what his or her thoughts are on your pricing. Do you think I'm underpriced?
You know,
And get their
in my
back.
case, in my case, it was actually because he had called and rescheduled it so many times that
Ah,
he thought that
he felt
he had
bad.
put me out,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he really didn't. So
yeah.
that's what it was.
And
It was sheer gratitude.
Yeah, that makes sense, right? But if you have a lawyer that's consistently offering you more, I think I would be tempted to ask the question about your pricing. And also, I liked what you said, Leslie, about just being honest and saying, "Hey, I can't accept this. This is more than the fee. This may look like on the next job, I want to work with you again, and this may look like a bribe, and I don't want to get into all that, you know." So for me, Daniel, I mean, that's just how my brain works. I might ask that question too, just to see if he does think that you're not charging enough, and then raise your prices.
If that's the
But
case, yeah.
If
And
that's the case, yeah.
I,
I want to add something is that, we're offering, how we see it. And of course, in California, there's no expressed law that says anything. Of course, the NNA would say don't accept tips at all. They're very
Mhm.
conservative, but they're
Mhm.
very parental in that way. If you live in a state,
Yes.
your state, they have, maybe not in the law, but maybe in their directives, maybe in their FAQs, maybe somewhere else, have addressed tipping and that it's not okay, then it's not okay.
Yeah.
Just because what we said today is based on our experience in our states. So if you're in a state that has addressed that and they're saying no, then just let them know, the law says I can't do it.
Yeah.
Be upfront.
And I think that's important. Maybe that's something we need to just include at the top of every call. We're giving you our opinion. Your state law trumps everything we say. You need to follow your state rules. And as a representative of your state, you need to make sure that you know your own state laws. We cannot say that enough.
Right.
All right.
my
Look
my
out some of them as we go. Because that's what Matt's doing over there is when we're getting into a state and it's not one we handle very often, he's pulling it up and we're looking. But when
Okay.
it's tipping, when it's other things like that, that might not be found in the law, that's when we're given opinions.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura, for clarifying that. Daniel, did you have something else you wanted to add at the end there?
No, I mean the state law says a reasonable gratuity. Reasonable to me means modest. And there
Yeah.
comes, I mean, it just comes, there comes a point, there comes an amount when you know what the price is for reasonable, you know what reasonable is. And it wouldn't shock me if I found this lawyer's picture on the side of a bus or on a commercial late at night, uh, trying to drum up business. I think he was trying to
Yeah.
drum up a little bit of a network here, but
So you
I think he
followed your
was,
gut, and I think that's really important,
but
followed your instincts like that.
But
Yeah.
my response was always, hey, let's get the signing done before we start talking about that. Here's my fee.
Yeah.
Let's get the signing done. Let's make sure we get that part done, and then we can move on from there. Thanks, everybody. Notary
Right.
Masters is Thursday.
Just gonna
Uh,
say.
and buy the customer service book. Guys, see you later.
Put it in the chat, Daniel.
Daniel has
All right,
got the
will
Notary
do.
Masters in the chat, and you're welcome to put your book of customer
Yeah,
service
your
in the
book.
chat, of course. And thank you for asking that. If you guys want to put anything in the chat, just make sure you go through us first and ask us first. We have a standing invitation for Daniel to put his stuff in there because it's so good. All right, Asia. Hi, Asia. You are called. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can remember. Wisconsin?
Yes.
Oh, look at me. Okay. Somebody just had a cup of coffee. All right. Asia, what can we do for you?
Hi, thanks. Okay, so I kind of know my answer, but I guess this is more of an advice question
Okay.
of an incident that happened this weekend for me.
Okay.
So I had a person schedule or book an appointment with me on my website online. And so they booked the appointment with me. And after that, I followed up with this confirmation text message. The next day, I send reminder text messages for everyone I have for that day. I called her to say, "Hey, do you mind if I come over a little earlier because I was in the area?" She said, "Yeah." I also sent the ETA like, "Hey, I'll be there. My ETA is 11:25." I get there at 11, like 24, and she's already coming out the house, like, oh my God, I was calling you. I looked at the form and I actually don't need a notary because of X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
Um, so in that moment, I kind of was taken back because I never had that happen before. And I just like, okay, well, if you need me in the future, just let me know, and left it at that. But when I left, I felt kind of crappy because I drove.
Mhm.
Um, and my question is really, how do you still ask for those fees? Because
Yeah.
in that moment, I thought, well, I didn't do anything, but I did do something. I drove there.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. I just had that appointment this morning. It it
What'd you
happened.
do, Laura?
I did charge the fee, and the reason I did charge the travel fee is because of this. I have the 5 points of qualification to get something notarized, and we're texting, and if he's arranging it for his dad, and so I have a shortcut that just zips all 5 to him. Look, he's got to have the right ID, he's got to be alert and aware, he's got to have the document ready, he's got to be able to speak to me directly without an interpreter. It's got to be able to sign unassisted, right? So these are my basic things. Yes, 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 everything is good. Fantastic. I get there and it's a last will. And there is no affidavit that follows it. It's just for the witnesses. And I said, okay, now this requires 2 witnesses. I see that's what the document's telling me. I see nothing for a notary. And he said, well, I thought, better one notary than 2 witnesses. And I said, okay, I hear that's what you thought. And hey, I love your thinking, but I'm going to tell you the probate code in our state. Here's what it says. You need 2 witnesses. I can certainly notarize their signatures for you if you want a notary, but you're going to pay for a service that isn't going to help you. And can you get a neighbor? Can you? I'll be one. I'll be a witness. Not a problem. I'm not notarizing anything. I'll be your witness. Can you just get one more? He's like, well, I'm the son. Well, nope, that's not going to work. Get your neighbor. You got a neighbor. You got a friend. Anyway, just pop on over. I'll wait a few minutes. Okay. I got nobody. Okay. Well, then I really can't do anything for you here today.
Mhm.
So in the text, the bottom of it says, if you tell me all of these conditions are met and you say yes, and I show up and I cannot notarize, you are still obligated for the travel fee. So it's set. Now, I may make a business decision based on the situation to not charge it. I may make that decision, but that's a business decision for me. But it's in writing for them that they're obligated to it if I want it.
Yeah.
And I wanted it, so I took it. So I took that $35. Now, in the end, as we were talking, he said, well, can't you even find us a way? Can you help us with this? Absolutely. You would like me to bring you a witness? They're going to charge you a fee for that. I can come back. I'm going to charge you a fee for that. And come back at 4 o'clock today. I'll bring a witness with me and we'll be witnesses for you. Here's the extra fee for that. And he said, okay, that's great because I have nobody. I'm happy to pay the fee. So
Mhm.
that's how it worked out in the end. But I always warn them that there is going to be a travel fee regardless. Then it frees me up. Sometimes I can be the good guy and say, you know what, this was out of your control a little bit. Why don't we just not worry about that? Especially when it's not that far away. Then I don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think all good points. Leslie, how do you feel about that?
So I feel 2 different ways about it depending on the circumstances, and we have the 2 different circumstances going on here. Laura had an interaction. She actually went through the whole process but couldn't notarize. In that case, yes, absolutely. I would say I still need to collect my travel fee. But
Hmm.
if I was just pulling up and they're like, I'm sorry, I don't need you, it washes. After a while, somebody else is going to give you a tip and it's going to kind of pay for the gas that you just spent.
Hmm.
You're going to go somewhere and in it's going to be 3 miles away. You're going to charge a $40 travel fee. It's 3 notarizations. It took you 15 minutes. You made a really good,
Yeah.
pay. And so if you didn't get your travel fee from that one, it's going to be made up. Instead of
Yeah.
looking at everything as one individual thing, I look
Right.
at the big picture.
The big picture. Yeah, I think that's good advice too. What do you do in that situation, Matt?
If they're a new customer and it's likely I'm never going to see them again, I'll collect the travel fee. If it's a
Mhm.
regular, I'll just say, you know what? Don't worry about it. We'll see you next time.
Yeah.
But to add to that, I also will disclose, as Laura does, not only about travel fees, but wait time. If you're not ready to go when I'm there, the
Hmm.
clock starts ticking, right? And that helps to motivate them to be ready.
Yeah. That would certainly motivate them to be ready. I think the only thing, I mean, all great answers. I think the only thing I want to like add to it is I do not think it's unreasonable that you charge someone if you feel it's necessary because of the circumstances like we were talking about. I don't feel like it's unreasonable to charge someone a travel fee given the price of gas these days. And I
Right.
don't think it's outlandish to ask for that. So I'm giving you permission to do that so you don't feel weird about it. Because sometimes you just need somebody to tell you that it's okay. If, of course, state laws come first, all those things. But, I think it's perfectly reasonable right now when things are the way they are with gas prices to say that. So, does that answer your question, Asia?
Yes, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. That was a great question. And we are going to A Hall. Now, tell me what the A stands for.
Hi, it stands for Andrea.
Andrea, how are you doing today out in
I'm well,
California?
thank you. How are you?
Good. What can we do for you?
This is my second time with my commission. I'm taking it more seriously now, but I had a question and I'm glad someone brought up the fees because I don't know what to charge for and was wondering on average, what are folks charging for travel? And I'm here in California.
Where specifically, Andrea?
I'm in Sacramento County.
Okay.
Matt, you want to get started with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you could reasonably charge. See, so I'm going to compare it to my area in San Francisco. So San Francisco is a 7 mile by 7 mile county. And anywhere in San Francisco, I charge $35 to get there, plus whatever other fees, notary fees, and whatever else I'm doing. And then as I go further out from that, it increases by $5 increments or $10 increments if I have to go over the bridge because bridge tolls are now $10 each. I think if you're in center Sacramento, maybe start at 35 or 40 and just kind of go up from there as you go out.
Mhm.
But the one thing you want to do is act like a consumer and look up all the other mobile notaries in Sacramento, and there's a lot of them, and see what they're charging. And then you can kind of decide where you want to come in. You want to be on the high side, you want to be on the low side, you want to come in someplace in the middle. And that's a strategic business decision. But do your research first. Kind of do your own little focus group, as I say.
Yeah, that's great advice. Leslie, what do you say about pricing like that? Now, obviously, I know you're in Michigan.
We are in Michigan, Southeast Michigan to be exact. And I'm going to tell you, instead of just telling you what my fee is, because my fee doesn't matter to anybody else,
Hmm.
um, you have to know the area and how much people can afford and how much they're making. Here's my story. When I was a new notary charging $25 travel fee, this was 65 years ago. I was traveling wherever I needed to go. You know, you're new, you take it, right? There was a woman who lives in a not in a the median income in her area is $35,000 a year now. So it's not huge. She was charging a $50 travel fee and saying that there's no business for mobile notaries. And I said, honey, I am going to your area for $25. So she then changed her travel fee to $25 and she started building a business. So instead of deciding based on what other people are doing, I highly recommend that you figure out what the median income is and if it's worth it for somebody to pay you versus taking an hour off of work to go somewhere else without paying a travel fee to get it done.
Great
My travel
advice.
fee,
Love that.
my
Yeah.
travel fee is $40. I just want to say it starts at 40. It's lower if you're within my area. I'll cut it in half. If I have to go closer to where Joe Lopez is, I give it to him and he charges whatever he charges. Joe's on our call and he's my
Nice.
go-to for going west. That's him.
Nice. But so I love that because that's another reason to like refer out and know other notaries in your area
Yep.
and all of that. So when you are piecing that together, like I would imagine in Sacramento, you're not charging as much of a travel fee. And Laura, this is where you come in. You're not charging as much of a travel fee as if you're in downtown LA or San Francisco, right? Because, the pricing's different, the parking's different, the tolls are different, all of those things. So you really need to look at the area where you're going. So how do you structure it, Laura?
Well, so you were right leaning into where I was going to go, which is what does it cost me to do business? So
Hmm.
I might charge $35 and make a profit, but somebody else may not because they have car payments, they have a higher gas vehicle. For whatever the reasons are, especially newer notaries where they just put out a bunch of money on printers and getting their commission and getting their E&O and all these expenses. And so it may feel uncomfortable to charge, let's say 35. You want to charge 50, let's say, because you've got all these expenses that are hitting you. So I think it's a combination of what does it cost me to do business, number one, and then what seems to be, the average fee going on in my area, which I love what Leslie was saying is what is the median income
Hmm.
there? And that's probably the first time I've heard somebody use that as a strategy. And I think that's a beautiful strategy. And then you're going to have to find out, do I have to find a less expensive way to do business so that I can serve the people in my area and then increase it as they make me go, if it's like 5 miles in any direction, that's the fee. But when you're 5.1 miles, you're in the next tier. And that's what I do. I use tiers. And I also do what Leslie does. I have a team of notaries out there. So when it's farther than I want to drive, it goes to another notary. One, why should they have to pay my fee, which is going to be a lot more expensive for that customer than if they got somebody in their own area? And that's probably the public servant part of me that feels like, that's what's most fair to do that. And it helps my colleagues, and they do the same thing for me. So you got, I think, a lot of different angles here, and you'll want to see what works best for you and your business.
Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. I want to add one little piggyback. We love a piggyback around here.
They do.
I I want to add one little piggyback to that is when you have Andrea, one or two people over like the course of 6 months that call you and they say, I'm just going to assume you're going to say your travel fee is $50. I'm just rounding, I'm not saying that's what it should be. And they say, what? I can go to the bank for free. I can go to the UPS store for free. That's ridiculous. Don't panic
Yeah.
and reduce your travel fee. That person is they're not looking for a mobile customer convenience. They are looking for the cheapest option. And usually that is not a mobile notary.
Right.
So I remember the first time somebody told me that with my travel fee, I went into sheer panic and was like, "Oh, I need to reduce my prices. I'm never going to get any." Don't do that. If you are consistently hearing that it's too high, maybe you didn't take the time to ask other notaries in the area or look at the median income of the different areas like Leslie was suggesting. If you consistently hear it, then it's time to look at it in a different light. But just because one or two people say that's too much. That just one or two people, one-offs are just they're not your customer. Okay?
And not everybody is our customer.
Not
And I think if
everybody
you
is.
remember that,
Hmm.
because at first when I talked about this, I mean, like 8, 10 years ago, I was talking about giving it to other notaries, suggesting that they go to the UPS store if they don't want to have to pay a travel fee. I tell them, of course, I have friends that own UPS stores, the private ones, not the UPS. And so I would just refer them to them and say, hey, you don't need to pay that extra 35 to me. Why don't you just go to so and so? They're open till 6 o'clock. Here's their street address.
Yep.
So the customer got great customer service, and they really weren't my customer to begin with. So I didn't lose anything. They would, if they were going to say no, I wasn't going to get anything anyways. What I did is I'm building my referral network with the shipping centers where I know the managers or the owners, because they call me when they just have no choice. They've got to, I do hospital work mostly, and they're just not going to get there.
Yeah.
They send those to me. I send everybody who's not doesn't need mobile service to them. And really that will build your business. Really, you're not going to lose out.
That's why we say other notaries in your area are not your competition. They are potential collaborators, referral partners, and friends. And like the work Leslie's doing in Michigan, having different associations through your state, super important to join so that you can meet other like-minded notaries. Tamara Walker, tell us what state you're in and what your question is. Tamara, you're on mute. Or am I saying it wrong? Is it Tamara?
It is Tamara.
Tamara, sorry about that. Tell us what state
I'm
you're in.
calling from Florida.
All right, what can we do for you?
Okay, so I'm a notary and I became a signing agent last year as well. Well, notary the year before, the 24, and then 25, I became a signing agent. And I'm
Okay.
trying to get more exposure and get myself out there. I am a NNA member.
Okay.
However, I noticed that when I get calls, it's so very far away. Like the mile is like 100 miles or 50 miles away. And when I do respond to the company, I never get a response back. So I'm like, okay, that's not really working for me. So maybe there's something else I can do to get myself out there to be exposed more to the scenery of notaries.
Great question, right up my alley. But I'm going to let Leslie take this one and offer her
Okay.
expert advice. We'll all chime in, of course. But Leslie, what for loan signings, what can Tamara do for exposure? Sorry, I got tongue-tied.
So, when I was a new notary, they said to do this and they said not to do this. They, meaning all the notaries out there who are happy to give advice. Okay. You have a lot of competition. If you
Right.
want to do loan signing, you need to understand you are new into a platform that is saturated. So you have to show that you are educated. They're probably not going to choose a brand new notary. They want to choose someone who has some notarizations under their belt. So get out there and do some general notary work and make sure you're educated. I don't know what the education looks like in Florida, but if you don't have an education, find one. Find a law-based, Florida law-based. So you're not doing Michigan things in Florida and other states because they're all different. Every state has different laws. Get a great education, get some notarizations under your belt. When those notes, you know what you might want to do is go into your profile and make sure your zip codes are correct because if you're getting offers for places that are so far away, hone it in. Make sure your zip code is correct in there so they're getting the right places. Okay. And then when you get an offer, say you will accept it and then call them. Call them and say, hey, I'm available. They'll probably quiz you on a whole bunch of things. Be prepared to answer those questions. You probably got this, no worries. And they might give you a chance. I had to do that. I jumped in the middle of like a whole bunch of everything was going on, 2% interest rate. And I made a couple phone calls. And once I got in the first one, I got more. And then once you get 10 or 15 under your belt, go in and update your profile. When you get 100 under your belt, go in and update your profile. But there's probably more money to be made in general notary work than there is in loan signing because there's
Absolutely.
nothing paying out. You don't have to print. Well, sometimes you do, but most of the time you're not printing anything. You don't have to leave a second time to go drop documents. You don't have to scan anything. I love general notary work a lot better than loan signing because there's more money in there.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a bit of an uphill battle right now, I will say, with interest rates and lots of loan signing agents out there. But Laura, what do you say?
Well, let me think about this because you guys know me forever. I've been about general work, specialty work, and loan signings is only one of the many specialties that you could develop over time. And I have my certification to be a loan signing agent. And it's not that I never take them, but I cherry pick. I take the ones that fit my business model, fit my pay expectations and my territory. And the rest I don't worry about. They're not for me. And I spend more of my time taking care of hospital assignments where I show up. I've got one at 3 o'clock today. I show up, they've got the documents there, so I didn't print anything. I take care of business. I get paid at the table, and then I go and I'm done. And same thing with just the one-off things like pension documents. Somebody calls me to their home to take care of it after hours. So I prefer that kind of work because the net is better. Even, I know there's some people say, well, gosh, you only made $50 on this job, and I could make $100 if I was a loan signing agent on this job. But what did you have to spend to get that $100? And how much longer did you have to sit at the table to make that happen? And what follow-up work did you have to do? Did you have to scan them back? Do you have to fill out, through a portal, a completion report? It's not that I think loan signing work is not valuable. It certainly can be valuable. I just think that you should open up your horizon to have a little of everything. That way, if you're not getting too many loan signings, that's okay because you're also getting other kinds of assignments and building that experience. And then the other thing is that if they're sending, or the jobs you're getting are like far away, what territory did you set up? Did you set up a mileage territory? You're willing to drive 20 miles one way? What is that setup? Because it sounds like it might be too big for you and that you might want to narrow that down. That's all.
Yeah, I'm here. I thought she was gonna finish. No, I did not make the mileage long. I think it was like 20 miles, 25 miles out. But I don't know if you're familiar with Florida or the different areas, but they're sending me out like 100 miles out. And like I said, when I do reply, because I feel like the travel is is more, the fee would be more for even traveling to get to that place and back. I don't get responses. And I do agree with you about general notary work. I would prefer general notary work. Why? Because all the printing and everything for the signing agent, I mean, you have to actually spend money, like a huge amount of money to get a printer, get the paper, get the ink, da da da. Then you got to scan it back, and then you got to sign this. And if it's a check, and it's a lot with the signing. So I do agree with notary, and I've gotten notary work. That has been the only work I've gotten. But it hasn't been like I wanted it to be. And maybe I'm doing something wrong. I am, since you guys are telling me to go back to my profile, I'm gonna do that to make sure the mileage is correct. But I do agree it's always good to get more experience in different things in the notary industry. And that is my goal to do so. So
awesome. Well, Matt,
it's a good goal. I think it's a good goal that you want to be a signing agent, because I think that fits in with everything else that you might want to do. And that's experience. Those are certain kinds of documents. What Leslie said earlier about having education and that kind of specialty so that you know what you're doing. Making contacts. I don't know if you're signing up with just signing like databases or signing services. Are you trying to do any direct, going into, title offices?
I haven't. What I have did, when you become a member of NNA, you probably already know that when you become a member, they set you up on the profile of signingagent.com. And then I also market my services,
Absolutely.
social media.
That's what we're here for.
Okay. Somebody's.
No, I got it.
Okay, go ahead, Tamara.
So I also market myself as well on social media and things of that nature. I signed up outside of the signing agent, but I realized the companies that I did sign up with, they're on signingagent.com as well. So, but I'm also trying to get out, different signing companies and things of that nature. But it's just, and I know it takes time. I can't think it's going to be boom, boom, boom. But I just maybe I'm not turning every coin over. I'm not going to the right doors. I'm not going in the right circles, things of that nature.
Well, let's hear
So
what Matt has to say because I know he had a comment that he
okay,
wanted to share, Tamara.
Tamara, you're a Florida notary. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I think that you are missing out on a prime opportunity. Florida notaries right now are cleaning up in the real estate space doing remote online closings, seller packages, refis and buyer packages for Rocket Mortgage. They do strictly online only now.
Oh,
So
wow.
and then of course there's international signers that need documents signed that are US residents but are abroad. So Florida notaries really have a huge opportunity right now to step into that market, and that, guys, is where the real estate business is going.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
you should look into that.
Yeah.
Online notary. Okay.
That's right.
Remote. I'm
remote,
sorry. Remote online. Okay.
right?
Remote online notary.
Yes, ma'am.
Laura, did you have something you wanted to
Yeah, the
add?
last thing I wanted to add is I know you said that you're building visibility by putting yourself on social media. The two things about social media is one, who are you posting for? Who's going to see it? Because if you're in groups with other notaries are going to see it.
Right.
But not maybe perhaps not who you're looking to have see it, which would be signing services, and you want to catch their eye. So look to see where you're posting for your social media. The other thing is do a little research and identify signing services and then research them. Who do they serve? Where are they located? Can you find any comments about them? How big are they? How long have they been in business? Things like that, so that when you want to approach a signing service, then you know a little bit about them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Well, I'm gonna follow up by saying a couple of things. Definitely make sure you're checking your travel radius on your profiles that you have listed. And I'd also like to personally invite you to come hang out with us on Saturday, Tamara. We are going to be talking about estate planning, which is also extremely lucrative in Florida, just given the demographics of the state of Florida with the older population. So I'm going to put that in the chat for you. It's free for you to come and
Okay.
learn a little bit about it. And then the other thing I was going to tell you, just from a marketing perspective, do you have a Google Business Profile set up?
Um, no.
Okay.
Google
So
Business?
Google Business Profile, it's free. So let me ask you a question. When you are going to try a new restaurant, you're looking for a new Chinese restaurant in your area, what do you do to find it?
Go online and look it up.
Yeah. So people who need notaries do the same thing. So if you don't
Yeah.
have that Google Business Profile, you're missing out on a ton of business. So
Okay.
my best advice, that the thing I want you to do today when we hang up from this call after registering for the estate planning seminar on Saturday, I want you to
Okay.
go to Google and set up your Google Business Profile. And there are myriad videos on YouTube on how to set it up properly. Please don't wing it. Please don't wing it. Make sure that you are setting it up the right way. And then I want to share this with you too. Lastly, uh, hang on. Wait, what happened? I was gonna Matt, can you help me?
Sure. What
Can
do
you
you
put
need
my
help
book?
with?
Will you
Oh
put my
yeah,
book in the chat?
sure.
Tamara, you need a marketing plan. You need to start thinking about a marketing plan that includes regular follow-up, monthly touch points, networking opportunities. You're a business owner. You got to get out there and work a marketing plan. And my book is going to help you with that. It's on
Okay.
Amazon, $30. And there's a Kindle version for 8, whichever, but it's
Okay.
going to show you what it looks like broadly to be a marketer for your business, be
Okay.
the marketing head of your business, because you are, just like you're the head of accounting and operations and scheduling, and you're also the head of marketing. And you need to follow a plan because hope is not a plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hoping for business is not a plan. So check both of those, check both of those resources out and keep coming back to this call and asking the great questions that you are asking.
Okay. Thank
Oh,
you.
wait, Laura said she had one more thing.
Well, for everybody, but Tamara, because she's Florida. And did you guys happen to notice in the chat that our influencer of the year posted about an in-person skill lab workshop near Tampa on
Yes,
July
yes. Oh, thank
11th? If you want to get practice, I mean, the more practice, the more different places you can get yourself better at what you do besides the marketing part is really important, especially if you don't have a lot of assignments under your belt. But you can say, okay, I've been doing this training and I've been doing this training, I've been doing that. And so, Melissa, are you leading that yourself? If you could unmute yourself for a moment. Are you the one leading it?
I am putting on the skill lab, but I will talk them right out of doing loan signing. So, because I'm not going to say how great it is and how wonderful it is, I am bringing in someone who does genuinely love loan signing.
Okay.
And she happens to own a signing service locally here in Florida. So it serves multi-purposes. So they can meet her, they can build a relationship with her. So they can learn from her, and we're going to do a buyer side package, a seller side package, and we're going to role play. They'll team up with a notary cousin, and one will be the notary and one will be the signer, and then they'll flip flop. So we'll do that all morning, and then in the afternoon I am going to teach Florida best practices and notary safety. So it's going to be an all day thing that I am hosting, but I am definitely not teaching the loan signing.
And when is this now?
Melissa, will you put the link in the chat again so that anybody in the state of
Yeah, I
Florida,
didn't put the link, but I can.
do you mind?
It'd be great.
Yeah, no,
It's
let me
July
grab it.
11th.
It's July 11th. It'll be near Tampa. I don't put the address out there because there's stranger danger, and that's part of notary safety. Not everybody needs to know where we are.
Yeah.
So
Thank you, Melissa.
Putting that in, and you'll remember that 7-Eleven because that's my birthday. Thanks for doing
right.
my birthday, Melissa. That was a good day.
That's a great day.
Tamara, thank you so much for that question. It was fantastic. We appreciate
Thank you so much.
in that. And yeah, anything Melissa throws, and listen, we're just going to tell you right now from Laura, Matt, and myself, anything that Melissa's doing in Florida, it's okay to sign up with her stuff. She does quality work.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You don't have to wonder about that. Yeah. Patty out in LA has a question for us. Hi, Patty.
Hi. How are you guys?
Good. What can we do for you?
Well, I have a comment on something that happened and wondering if it's happened to any of you guys. I had a very strange phone call Monday, a week ago, Monday. It was 7:45, and a man called and said that he was calling me from a law firm, a large law firm downtown LA. And he was looking for a notary that could come to their law firm and do DMV notarizations. And I said, what are you talking about? Title transfers or something? He says, yes, that. And then he said, in sales notarizations. And I said, I'm sorry. And he says, home sales. And I said, are you looking for loan doc packages? Is that what you're? Yes, that. So every little thing seemed kind of a little strange to me because if he's an attorney in a law firm, he would know the terms, right? Here's real estate law firm, you would definitely know.
Well, you're assuming that it was not an office worker calling you that didn't understand.
Well, I thought, well, maybe they got one of their assistants, younger assistants calling, and this is the terminology he's using. So then I thought, okay, and I thought I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And so I talked to him at length, and I said, I personally do not, and I do not do loan docs, but I have a team of very experienced notaries that would.
Yeah.
And he says, well, we looked at your picture and we liked your picture.
No. Okay. Just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just stop
Right
right
there.
there.
Mira.
Just stop.
He's done.
Very
No.
creepy.
Yeah. So, Patty, your brain is already telling you that it's wrong because it fired off your instinct telling you this is not right. That's information. It's not just your stomach making a funny feeling. It's actually information that your brain is sending to you that says, hey, danger, this is not safe. Anybody that I like the way you look, that's why I hired you, screams like sex trafficking to me. So, yeah, I think just if your gut, and I mean like this is life advice, guys. If your gut is screaming this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, then it is wrong for you. It is wrong for you to do that. And as business owners, it is okay to turn down business. That's where we get stuck, is we don't want to turn down business. But your life, your well-being, your peace of mind is not worth $150, $200, whatever that is. Say no if your gut and your body is telling you to say no. Does anybody want to?
That's the beauty of being self-employed, right? You could
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
who, what, when, where, how.
Mm-hmm.
And they found me.
Pretty woman, that shit. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I say who? I
No,
say
they found me on your website, Matt.
On the CLN website? Yeah, I mean, and
So
it's a double-edged, and I'm going to explain why. The CLN website directory listings rank high.
Mhm.
But that's good, but it also is bad. It's a double-edged sword. So that's
yeah.
probably why.
Yeah.
No, I asked all the right questions because
Mhm.
I thought, God, I'm not gonna send my friends to go into something like this.
No, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You
So,
did the right thing by
yeah.
saying no. You really
But
did.
he wanted to send me a Zoom link for a meeting.
Oh
Oh,
Oh,
no,
yeah,
that
no, no,
sounds
no,
like
no,
the
no, no.
scam going around
And I
right
That's the scam. Yeah.
never got the link.
No, of course
And
not.
then I just
Mhm.
thought, no, I didn't even calendar it because I didn't feel my,
Patty, you haven't been to the TNT for a couple of weeks, I don't think,
We've
or
been
it's been
talking about this.
we've been talking about this
Mhm.
scam that's going around. So anybody that gets that kind of funky, weird call that's asking to share a Zoom link, it's
Uh-huh.
it's 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 a scam. And Matt posted his blog article in the chat about this. Thank you, Patty, for bringing this up
Yeah.
again. I'm rushing because I want to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
Heidi's question. Did I say
Okay.
your name right?
Thank
Heidi?
you.
Thanks, Patty. Heidi, did I say your name right? It's
I think
spelled
it's
Gaelic.
Gayless. Gayless.
Gayless.
It's
She told me
Gayless.
last week it's Heidi, I think. Is that
Yeah,
right?
it's Haley.
Haley.
Hey,
Yeah.
God, I was so
Hey.
close. I was so
So
proud of myself
close.
for
Yeah,
remembering
yeah,
that.
you're getting a good. Thank
Uh,
you. So
Very
to
quickly, what can we do for you?
Leslie, because I was reading, I'm like her stubborn notary child, like a little digging into the or Michigan law because coming from Florida, it's another monster. So do we need a lawyer is the only one that can do the estate planning? Because when I was in medical, we provide the advanced directory and people call it something else. But for Michigan, I have seen a lot going on, marketing like, oh, we're going to teach you how to do estate planning and all that. And I read on a part of Michigan that it says, we don't do it. It's a lawyer. So I want let's cover me a little bit of that, like POA also,
sure.
because I had from my Hispanic notary, they're like, oh yeah, you can go ahead and do it. I'm like, that's in Florida, but not Michigan,
Okay.
because you do
And
want a lawyer.
yeah.
Go
So
ahead, Leslie.
yeah, we are not allowed to prepare documents for anybody. We cannot provide documents for anybody. We cannot help them fill it out. We can't even put a date on there.
Mhm.
When they're saying we're going to teach you estate planning or teach you, it's not how to prepare the documents. It's how to work with the attorneys to um, to get them to work with you and it's how to walk through an estate planning closing. So these are the documents. It's the bedside manner, if you will. It's not preparing documents. That's not what they're talking about.
Yeah.
You are a member, and we do have videos on our website behind the member portal, in the member portals. Go through, see those estate planning. I've been doing it for 5 years. It's all there. All the stuff
And
you need to know is right in our portal.
Absolutely. And if you want to learn more about it, I just reposted the link to our webinar on Saturday where we're going to teach you how to position yourself in the estate planning world, much like you would position yourself a notary in the mortgage world. But guys, we got to go because holy cow, this hour is up already. I can't believe it. Um, I Joe, did Joe have I thought Joe had a question too. Did
yeah, he
he?
had his hand up, but he took it down.
Oh.
Joe,
Yeah,
you
hi
still
there.
have
I
it?
did, but of course, the question was expertly handled by Leslie, so I
Of
cannot
course
add
it
anything to
was.
that.
Of
Got
course
it.
it was. Awesome. Thanks,
Thank
Joe.
you,
Well,
guys.
guys, Leslie, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you for having me.
Absolutely
I appreciate it.
loved having you and getting all of your great advice and soaking up all your knowledge. Can we shower the screen with some hearts and balloons and party hats and all the things and love and let Leslie know how much we appreciate her. And as I
Thank
always
you.
do every week, I'm going to put Laura on the spot to close us out.
You are. Okay.
I love how
See
this
what
still
I've got.
surprises you.
So here's what I'm going to tell you guys. Success is not reserved for those who are in charge. It is available to anyone who makes the decision. It's all about deciding.
Love it.
There you go.
Thank you guys. Have a fantastic week. We'll see you next week on Tuesday Notary Titans. Bye.
Bye.